giving us those details. Let's move right on then and hear it out from none other than Mark Mobius, partner at Mobius Capital Partners. He shares his outlook on the Adani saga as well as its implications on the stock markets and sectors that he remains bullish on.
No, I think it's a natural movement in the markets. You had a downturn, then people get a little scared as a result of the recent problems that you've had with that major company. But otherwise, things are fine. And if you look at it on a 5-year basis, Indian market is still very strong, is still staying up. And I think at the end of the day, it will do well.
Mark, you've gone on record to say that you did not participate in Adani Enterprises stock sale, the FPO that is, before it was pulled. But has this at a global investor level scared or shooed investors away from India?
What happens is that the major investors, the multi-billion-dollar investors, what they end up doing is buying the index. Or even if they're trying to be active investors, they're so big, they're forced into companies like Adani. So in our case, we don't have to worry about that. We're not $1 billion funds. We're millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in our funds. And we can concentrate on companies that have very little debt. And the thing that scared us about the Adani companies, of course, is the debt. So at the end of the day, those foreign investors who were sort of forced to go into these big market cap stocks got burned, and of course they got scared. But at the end of the day, the outlook for India still looks excellent.
Mark, is it fair to say that the exodus that we are seeing with respect to the FII flows will come back soon? Because even before the Adani issue, there was a consistent outflow of FII's money. What do you think explains that? And has it fundamentally changed the view on India with respect to corporate governance issues, etc.?
I look at this outflow very carefully. I have not seen the specific numbers, but you have to count equity and debt differently. A lot of that money may be related to the bond market, the fixed income market, not the equity market. So once you've broken out those numbers, my suspicion is that you're going to see the equity market still strong with flows not going out very big, maybe short term. Because of Adani, you see some outflows, but I think probably the outflows are related to the fixed income market.
Mark, afternoon. For Indian markets in specific, what do you think is going to be the biggest concern or the biggest worrying factor for us down the line?
I think the biggest worrying factor would be a departure or slowdown of the transformation of the economy that Modi is trying to institute. And that is embedding into the Indian economy technology. I'm not just talking about tech companies, but I'm talking about the economy itself. In other words, having each and every Indian using technology to better their lives. That is going to be the productivity driver for the Indian market. So at the end of the day, that's what I would be scared about. If people say, no, we don't want the technology, we don't want the reforms, then India will be in trouble.
What do you think, Mark, is the best global tactical trade at the moment with respect to how dollar is expected to pan out, with respect to how rates are likely to be? Globally speaking, which is the market that looks the most attractive to you, whether commodities, bonds, dollar? Take your pick.
Well, if you look at the currencies, you'll see the US dollar index has gotten weaker and looks like it's going to get weaker. And the emerging market currencies have gotten stronger. A number of currencies around the world have gotten much stronger against the US dollar. That means that you've got to look at emerging markets, not only China, not only India, but you've got to look at Malaysia, Indonesia, South Africa, Brazil, etc. Because many of these markets suffered an incredible decline in their currencies against the US dollar, but are now strengthening and now getting stronger. So there's lots of money to be made. And of course, the growth story is still very much in place.
In that sense, Mark, would you say that the relative attractiveness of India has surely come down, at least in the near term?
Not for me. I'm a long-term bull on India. I think India is going to do very well going forward. Okay, you're going to have market fluctuations. You're going to have situations like Adani, but the country itself is going to go from strength to strength.
I'm not going to beg to differ there for sure. But tell me, Mark, considering your focus has always been on the non-index stocks outside the index, what is it that you've done in the current market weakness or volatility, if I may put it like that? Because that's definitely hit the mid and the small caps even more. So have you, spotted any brighter spots, any new stocks that you think have emerged in the current weakness?
Actually, we have not really changed very much of our holdings in India, or for that matter, the entire portfolio. But we have been adding companies that are in the software area, companies that are using software, using technology for map.
All right, that's a word coming in from Mark Mobius. And as we wrap it up on the show, we at the Times Network are always looking to create